Hi, this is Dr. Stephen with Outclick Magazine. April is National Poetry Month, and O Miami is hosting its very own online poetry festival. Today, we're excited to welcome some of its participants. Welcome to the program.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Glad to be here.
Hello, everyone. Hello. Greg is one of our writers for the magazine. We always have great content and articles and interviews. So, Greg, it's great to put you on the hot seat and reverse the roles a little bit.
Yeah, thank you. I'm a little nervous, but I think I can do it.
You'll be fine. Greg, tell us about the O Miami Poetry Festival that's coming up here, April 2021.
So I'm reading from their official press materials. This is actually the 10th year of the O Miami Poetry Festival. The mission is for every single person in Miami-Dade County to encounter a poem. Also outside of Miami-Dade, since we live here too. We're in Broward. But the festival runs from the 1st to the 30th of April because it's National Poetry Month. And they have all sorts of events. On average, 41 events, 23 projects. It's pretty amazing. Usually it is, in the pre-COVID days, it's a live event, live and in person. This year it is, of course, because of the current situation, it is online.
It is online. Registration is free. They can go to omiami.org for more information about the event. Greg, we'll start with you. Tell us about your work, both in poetry and who you are in some of your work, Greg.
Wow. Okay. So I'm Gregg Shapiro, an entertainment journalist based in Fort Lauderdale. I wear a number of different hats, which is good because it covers the baldness. I am also a fiction writer and a poet. My most recent book is How to Whistle, which came out in February. It's an expanded edition of my short story collection that Brendan was kind enough to blurb. But then for the purpose of this festival, the group of us are going to be reading from most recent poetry books with a South Florida angle. Maureen's book is very much a Florida book. Carrie Dodd's book, very Florida. Denise, who's here in spirit, her new book, Second Story, also very Florida. And then Brendan and I both have chapbooks from 2019 that are his is called Fort Lauderdale, mine's called Sunshine State. So I don't think you can get much more Florida than that.
You can get much more Florida than that. Well, it's a beautiful day. I'm looking outside. It's about 85 degrees here in Florida. Very good. Maureen, tell us about you. Tell us about your work, your location, and what you've got planned for the festival.
Well, I'm very excited to be here today with all of you. A little bit of a preview of what we're going to be doing next week. And it's so happy to just be here with Dr. Stephen. Let's see. I am actually in Colorado right now, but I live, between mountains and sea. That's me. I'm just part mountain, part ocean. And right now I'm in Colorado, missing Florida terribly. Not because of the weather. I like the weather here. It's fine. But just that's where all my friends are. Like all my friends. And my partner, actually, who is in Fort Lauderdale. And we're separated by COVID. So that's been interesting. And miss her terribly, too. But she's coming out. I'm getting my vaccine today. Woohoo! I teach at the University of Miami, and I've been there since 2002. I love my students. I love everything about it, actually, and it helps me just write my head off. And I've been writing like crazy since COVID started, and collaborating with some of my favorite people, and it's just been the one big joy of this whole last year has been poetry. So I miss O Miami, but I'm a part of it, and I have a Florida book, okay. And I'm excited about that. Thanks.
Do you have an example you want to read? Some of you did. Do you have an example?
Like right now? Read it? Something? Oh, okay, I will. This is the book. Isn't it pretty?
Or we can come back if you want to find something.
I know what I want to read, actually.
Okay.
I thought for Floridians in the audience, or even not, if you've heard about Florida drivers, or if you're in Florida and you're terrified.
Here it comes. Maureen, be careful. That's okay. Go ahead.
I thought you might enjoy this poem. And where the heck did it go? Oh, there. Snapper Creek Sonnet. Has anyone ever been on the Snapper Creek Expressway? You're still alive. Okay. It's short. Snapper Creek Sonnet. I can't really be careful in my poem, though, right? Okay.
Go right ahead.
Now I'm almost killed again on the Snapper Creek Expressway. My shadow left behind on blacktop like a map of this precarious, sinking city. So I invent an odd task for myself. Ephemera, I decide, harmless but illegal. That tissue in felon wind, a blip beneath radar. And I enjam the law in small ways. Felonious poems sailing from the sealed lips of mermaid sculptures, the tentacles of banyans stuffed into bottles I toss into Snapper Creek, the creek, not the suicidal highway, begging fish, fowl, and humankind, oh Miami, save us.
Very good. Very Miami. Very
Thank you.
Miami.
Thank you.
Caridad, tell us about you. You're up next.
Hi. Well, I'm thrilled to be here. Thank you. And I'm so excited and honored to be reading with this illustrious roster of poets, also my friends and dear ones, who in one way or another have been on the trajectory of this book, Tortillera, which was just published in February. And it's basically, the title is a homophobic slur. So meaning lesbian. So I decided to queer that definition and just kind of own it, because you're not going to hurt me with it. So a lot of the investigation in the book has to do with language, has to do with, I'm Cuban American, and I say I've lived my life on the hyphen and never really comfortable on one side or the other, just kind of straddling that middle. So a lot of that is in the book, along with I came out later in life and an examination of how actual language and expectation kind of thwarted my progression for a little while, because I just simply didn't have the schema to imagine the life that I really needed and wanted. So this collection is actually 10 years of not just poetry work, but of self-work, right? And while it's not an autobiography, it's certainly been influenced by many of the experiences that I had coming out in the Cuban milieu, which is very interesting. And as a little teaser, I'm going to read an example of that. It's called Cuban American Lexicon. And it's some of the stuff that I think about. In Espanol, the word for girlfriend does not exist. Instead, I was his novia, intended, fiance, bride. In training, I was neither girl nor friend to the boy I chose, duty down the aisle toward the altar, where novia turned into spouse, consort, wife, esposa. In Espanol, known also to mean shackle, manacle, handcuff.
Yeah.
So thank you. So that's what the book is about. That kind of investigation of where does the language influence, does the person influence the language, and how both are true.
Our own self journey, how that's influenced by our culture, our language, the expectation, and the limitations of the language. When you don't have a language to express, or the words to express who you are, it very limits your own identity and that journey and that identity. Thank you for sharing that. Brendan, tell us about you and your work.
Sure. Thanks so much for being here. I'm going to echo what everybody else said, but I'm super stoked to be reading with all you guys, people that I admire and think are incredible poets and humans. So I'm a transplant, like so many people down here. I'm from the Northeast. I'm from Connecticut. But I came here because I had lived in Laos, and I realized that I couldn't live without palm trees in my life, and this is kind of like the place to come if you're an American. So my writing since moving to Florida has focused a lot on the fact that we're living in a place that is disappearing, and the sort of dual need to love the nature and the natural environment while realizing that it is nearly out of our control to save it. And so that fight that we have to I love going to the beach and I love going to the Everglades, but at the same time, I'm driving my car to the Everglades, I'm flying out, I'm doing all this stuff that perpetuates the destruction of the place that I love so much. So it's that that fight that we all have as people who love living here and yet know that we are contributing to its demise. Part of being a Floridian, I think, especially now. So my writing a lot often has focused on my travels and living other places. And now that I've somewhat settled here, I write almost exclusively about Florida, which is really interesting, which is an interesting part of being a Floridian, as much as I can claim that identity. So yeah, I'll read a poem that is about my reverence for this place, about my ability to find essentially God in every interaction I have with the landscape. I live in beautiful Hollywood, Florida. I go to Hollywood Beach as much as I possibly can. So this is a poem about a day that I took off from work. I was sick and I went to the beach.
I got that too.
Oh yeah, sometimes we get sick on a Tuesday and need to go to the beach. And this is part of a sequence. I just completed something called a 30 for 30 campaign with Chapiro Press. We write 30 poems in 30 days. This is the first poem I wrote in that sequence, and they're all titled God and then a number. So this one is called God 1. Take this day, which, even if I showed you a photo, you wouldn't believe is 10 a.m. on Tuesday. A lone sandpiper weaves through rows of royal terns who look like very serious bald men. All watch the water. They too understand morning as luster in their bones. Sargassum piles at the ocean's lip. The biggest gull scans for silver fish, bits of tossed out bait carried inland. We squint, banner planes gulping overhead. I say we and mean it. Say we, but mean balanced east wind, not enough to make us shiver. And the woman healing sand, and the dolphin pod 2 miles out, the coconut husk, the hardened coral, the couple smoking on a leopard print blanket.
It's beautiful.
I think one of the things I'm hearing from all of you, it's take time to step back and think and reflect. I think that is one of the lessons I learned as we mark 1 year of COVID, is to slow down and stop, think, reflect, be thankful, protect ourselves, protect our world, and protect those around us, is what I'm hearing.
Mm-hmm.
Gregg, you didn't get a chance to share. I apologize that I skipped over you. Would you like to share one of yours as well?
Sure. Okay, so so this is called Questions After Falling Back. Where are the clouds going in such a hurry? Do the clocks mind? What is the dog doing when she goes behind the variegated arboricola and fiddle leaf fig plants in the yard? How long is too long? When will the mockingbird tell us what she wants? Is 6:47 a.m. too early to be eating sweet mesquite, barbecue seasoned Cape Cod kettle cooked potato chips directly from the bag? Will Clive Davis ever own up to the part he played in the death of Whitney Houston? What about Sissy? Has anyone told the microwave oven? Who is throwing unshelled peanuts over the fence? Is there an impartial person who can navigate the bitter feud between a mother and a son? Will there be tears? Does the moon know? Well, I have to say my first exposure to variegated arboricola, that's here. We don't have
in my yard. It's in my front yard.
Yeah, in our backyard, and we don't have those in Chicago. Not even close. So, in fact, Rick, my husband, always says when he sees some of these huge plants, he loves to say, that's just ground cover in Chicago. Meanwhile, it's like a tree here. So, yes, we like it here.
Good. So I'll put all of you on the spot and ask you a question. You get one sentence answer. What is one thing you would like participants to take away from this year's festival? You get one sentence. I'll put you on the spot because these kinds of events are not just about the words. They're about the message. I think that everyone, feels. So what would be one takeaway you would want the participants to have from this year's event in light of, especially, I think, the hell that we all went through this past year? I'll let whoever wants to jump in first.
I'll start.
Okay.
There's a poem for everyone. There's a poem for everyone.
Poetry is like food. You can't live without it.
I would just say that there is, to kind of copy Carrie Dodd, there is poetry in everything.
Oh. And I would say we're doing it in Miami.
And that rounds it out. Oh, Miami. Oh, Miami. Again, it's the Oh Miami Festival, April of 2021. Your all's particular reading is, if I have it correct, April 7th, 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, 2021. Arthur, who always helps us, has it here on the website. If there's anything in particular you want us to point out, we can pull that up. But it's omiami.org is the website. Greg, did you have anything else?
Just Denise will be there too. She'll be there on the 7th.
And Denise will be there too. There's lots of other opportunities coming up for this. So omiami.org. Arthur, if you want to put up the other social media, we'll have that for everyone as well. Yes, there. Oh, Denise, there's Denise. Okay, thank you. He's pointing at me from across the table. He forgets I don't always read lips too well. Oh Miami. All right, and then the Facebook site, Instagram, Oh Miami Festival, Oh Miami Festival for all of those across the board. Thank you all for joining us. It's been a lot of fun. I didn't expect to laugh this much during this interview. Thank you so much for making me laugh, and thank you for making me appreciate this.
Thank you so much.
Thank you so much.
Thank you. We are Outclick Magazine, outclique.com. Or if you'd like to stay up with us, you can text OCQ to 22828. All right, everyone, we look forward to it. So get out your pens and start writing some poetry and join them on omiami.org. Have a fantastic afternoon. Thank you.
Thank you. Bye.
Bye.